Welcome to KDKP Noire. I'm K Noire, and today we're talking the girls of K-pop, or like I say, the girls that run this world. So stay tuned. So today we're talking about the girls of K-pop, or affectionately as I like to call them, the girls that are running this world right now. And let's start with the girls of Huntress X, or the girls of Kpopdemonhunters, or EJ, Riami, and Audrey. They were honored with the Billboard Women of the Year award, and that was so awesome. But it wasn't them winning the award that caused a bit of a stir for most people. They're talking about the speech. Why? I don't know. But at the end of the day, I like that speech, and I'm going to tell you why. Those girls got up and they talked about being Asian K-pop artists, Asian women that were kind of like put into a box. They said people tried to degrade them, tried to talk less of them, tried to tell them they couldn't be certain things, do certain things, and tried to put the glass ceiling on them, tell them that they couldn't break it, right? So that kind of struck me a lot. When EJ got up and said her speech, all of them said, let me know, all of them said significant things in their speech that resonated with me. But EJ specifically, when she said that as a Korean American, really found out she couldn't really make it on there as a K-pop idol. She decided when she couldn't to go into songwriting, then that let her know that music had no color. And I love that statement because that's so true. Because if music had a color, then it wouldn't be such a universal language. There would be people that segregated it out. And we don't live in that type of a world anymore. If it speaks to you, it is for you. That's the way I look at it. I could understand what she and the rest of the girls were saying, how they've been criticized for the looks, criticized for being, Asian, criticized for being, K-pop idols or singing certain types of music or resonating with certain things that resonated with their culture. I completely agree and resonate with all of that. As a woman of color in the corporate arena I'm in, specifically, they just didn't see people like me in positions like I now have. And it was not really, I guess you say, encouraged. I wasn't really encouraged to go into the position that I have now. And my passion was law. So I was never really encouraged to go into that. But because of how things evolved, I was able to go into that and use all the skills that I had built prior to that to go into that. But as I got in it, I found out it was mostly a male-dominated, organizations that I was in that did not see me as one, a woman, me as two, a Black woman, and me as a woman that was not really young, but kind of sort of young, moving in the manner in which I was moving to get in the position that I was in. And there were women who said, there's a glass ceiling. You can't go but so far, and don't ever think that you're going to break it. And for me personally, I was like, okay, this is what I have to do. Then it was just like one day something clicked in me and said, you don't need to shrink to make somebody else comfortable. If you're qualified, you're qualified. And for me, it was a spiritual journey because it was like the doors that opened for me, no man could open nor no man could close. And that was what kind of propelled me into the path that I'm in today. But I listened to these girls and I understood so much about what the Huntress X girls were saying because I had been there. I knew what it was like for somebody to tell me that I couldn't. But then I ended up doing what they said I couldn't do. These girls ended up breaking Billboard's records with the song Golden. In songwriting aspects, in performing aspect, in sales, in so many different areas. They've been on every award show. They won an Oscar, they won Critics' Choice, they won Golden Globes, they won everything that could be won in the United States and overseas for this song. So I really must say they broke the glass ceiling, as some would say. You know, there is no limit to what you can do, especially when you put your mind to it. Color means nothing in you. If you can propel to do whatever it is that you're supposed to do, just do it. Congratulations, Huntr X, for being Billboard's Women of the Year. Something else that we've seen, Jisoo from Blackpink. Jisoo was given a coveted award called the Madame Figaro Award, like it's a Rising New Star Award. Now, this is huge because Cannes is where like a lot of the independent movies, a lot of the movies that you see coming out now, that's like a platform, a stage for them to say that they've made it and if they're going to do well worldwide. So for her to be given that type of award speaks volumes to the type of actress that she is. Now, some people have their speculations with her because she's in the group Blackpink. She's done a lot of projects in the movie K-drama era, and she is doing well. You know, she just had Boyfriend on Demand, and which some people like, some people didn't like. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, she's proven herself as being not only just a singer in K-pop, you know, with Blackpink, but also a phenomenal actress. And I think you're just going to see that across the board. When you look at, you know, her and what she does, her character is totally different from what it is in Blackpink as what you see on screen. And that shows pretty much to me like a real big depth in how she's able to carry herself and what she brings to both elements, music and drama. So I am so excited for her and that win for her at the Cannes Film Festival. So congratulations, Jisoo. Congratulations. And speaking of Blackpink, Lisa. Yes, everybody loves Lisa. And Lisa is making major moves. Not only does she have her own residency in Las Vegas, and might I add, the only K-pop idol to ever do that, she's making history again. We're coming up on the Met Gala, which is the biggest fashion night here in the States. Lisa is one of the co-hosts of the Met Gala this year. That's the first time a K-pop idol has ever done that. So when we talk about breaking barriers, she's breaking barriers. I'm excited to see what she's going to wear. I love fashion, although you generally see me on here in a t-shirt. Given the opportunity, I love fashion. I love to dress. I love to talk about it. I love everything about it. I'm watching every red carpet there is. I'm watching all of the gowns, the latest trends, every fashion show. I just love it. So for her to be there in this moment and in this time, and she's co-hosting with the likes of Beyonce, right? You know, she's made it. She's a girl with the girl who made Girls Who Run the World. So congratulations, Lisa. And moving right along, if we're talking about or impacting things, there's a movie coming out called The Devil Wears Prada 2. Now, I ran across this interview, speaking of fashion, with Vogue Korea. And guess who was doing the interview with the U.S. stars? WonYoung of I, right? That's Miss Vicky herself. She was interviewing Anne Hathaway, Meryl Streep, and she was taking them on this journey of what they wear in the movie and how the movie came about, which you know, if you don't know, which you should know, but I'm going to tell you if you don't, it is a play on the Vogue editor herself, Anna Winters. And this movie talks about the relationship and kind of emulates how she allegedly acts in a lot of ways. And you'll see her in some of the promos for this movie that are coming out with Meryl Streep and with Anne Hathaway as well. But WonYoung, she did a great interview with them both talking about the fashion, the movie sets, what inspired them, what actually helps them be able to transpire and take this movie all over the world. She did a fabulous job. And if you haven't seen it, check out Vogue Korea and the interview with WonYoung, who's interviewing the stars of The Devil Wears Prada 2. So congratulations to her. Movie goddesses. We're talking Chase Infinity. Do you know who she is? If you don't, you need to. Girl who starred in One Battle After Another with Tiana Taylor, who was another Billboard Women of the Year winner. And Chase Infinity she's a young actress, but she doesn't act young in what she does. When I say that, I mean like she has veteran qualities in acting when you see her on screen. She came right off the heels of one battle after another and went right on to The Testaments, which is on Prime right now. If you haven't seen it, you need to see it. So you need to check that out. But she's a huge K-pop fan. People don't know this, but if you look at any of her interviews on the red carpet, they will oftentimes ask her about K-pop music. She talks about a lot of K-pop music, specifically the group I love too, ATEEZ. And she's a huge ATEEZ fan. She loves San, she loves all of them. But I'm telling you, it is so nice to see that on this side, really, because she's a young starlet, but like I said, veteran qualities in acting, and she's going to go a lot of places. But she's got that K-pop buzz, and she's just like really, really loving the music and loving the genre and loving everything about it. And she speaks on it just so freely, and I love that about her. So, she's a girl that's running the world right now, and I think we're going to see her continue to. So, take a look at that. When we're talking about other girls that run the world, I would be remiss if I did not talk about all of the girlies that are going to be running the world with that. You know, I think we're going to see I-DLE in concert this year. We're actually going to see MamaMoo return to the States in concert this year. You're going to see I-DLE over here as well. I think they're going to be at KCON. You're going to see Benny, who was actually honored at the Billboard Women of the Year. They're going to be at Lollapalooza. It's just a lot going on. I mean, you can't help but just talk about all these great artists. I mean, and then you're going to see Aespa out this year. You're going to see Sserafim do some wonderful things this year. Not taking that much of a break twice. I mean, like, these girls are running the world. And, you know, I'm going to end on this note, which is pretty much a good note. Some people didn't see it as that, but I see it as that. Earlier this week, we learned that Adore had pursued Danielle's property to pay the debt for her breaking the contract for NewJeans. Now, we all know NewJeans stunned the world when they broke their contract, or perceivedly broke their contract with their label Adore and Hide. Now, since then, we've seen numerous lawsuits with Min Hee Jin. We've seen numerous lawsuits that was kind of like in flux with the members, but it seems to be settling down. You know, Adore was saying that they had confirmed that NewJeans was coming back. We knew of three confirmations of Hani, Hey Ren, and Hey In. We knew those three girls were confirmed definitely, but Minji is still in limbo and probably still will be in limbo. We don't know if she's coming back or not, although Adore says the talks are good, they're still ongoing, and they feel very positive about it. We don't know, but we're going to put something out into the universe, and we're going to say, we hope they will be the group that comes back, whether it's 3, whether it's 4, whether it's more. We don't care. NewJeans is just that. They're NewJeans, and we are putting something out there that says we hope they'll come back and be one of those girl groups that continues to run the world. And I am just really hoping for that. So with that being said, thank you so much for tuning in. This was just a snippet of the girls that run the world in K-pop. So until next time.